If you love wilderness, you have to love Australia. I mean, take a look at it. It's vast. It's a beautiful continent. I'm going to venture into the heart of some of the wildest places on Earth. Off the beaten track. Oh, what was that? Oh, a big one. Across the remote outback. Into the big blue ocean. And high over the mountains. Well, it should be a great place to look for eagles. With my team, I'm going to discover the incredible life that thrives here. In all its beauty, variety, I just saw one, and drama. As I travel from the heat of the day, keep moving now, guys, keep moving back, to the cool of the night. This is one of the most incredible sights in nature, across the epic landscapes of the Australian wilderness. Australia is the world's largest island, and nearly half is untouched by humans. I'm heading to its greatest mountain range. The Flinders Ranges stretch for over 400 kilometres. I love this time in the morning. Just as the sun starts to come up in a landscape as large as this, you can hear the bird song as the birds herald the dawn. And of course, a yellow horizon like that lemon yellow you get there, can only be one place on Earth, and that's Australia. These are the Flinders Mountains in South Australia. It's the largest mountain range on the continent, and I've never been here before. Already it's taken me by surprise because it's the beginning of the autumn, and I have to say, it's really chilly. The vast rolling grasslands and red mountain ranges make this feel like Australia's very own Wild West. Frontier country, wired together with a pioneering spirit. My trail will take me across these arid grasslands and up to the ridgeline, where I'll set up camp for the night. It's a journey that promises me encounters with some of the iconic animals that live here, as well as a bird's-eye view of the natural wonders of these mountains. Beautiful colour on the hills. It's a really surprising landscape. It's not like anything I've ever seen in Australia before. It's lovely. Here, the best time to see wildlife is in the early morning or late evening. That's when things are most active. I really like the sounds from the honey-eaters. It's such a joyful bird. It's great. And we've got galahs, Australian magpies, and a number of different corvids, all adding to the ambient sound here. It's lovely. There's a Euro down here. You can see how he's picked up on us now. He's got his ears and his nose pointing this way. Euros are one of the 3 classic kangaroo species that live here that I'm hoping to get a good look at. They're more solitary than other kangaroos, so I'm not surprised to see this fellow out on his own. But this one has sensed us, and he's off. Time to move on. Travelling through this landscape, it's easy to forget that this is actually farmland. There are a few clues like these wind pumps that are drawing water up to the surface from deep reservoirs underground. In fact, I'm hiking across a 30,000 square acre sheep station called Rawnsley Park, and I've arranged a rendezvous with the owner, Tony Smith. Hey Tony, how's it going?
Yeah, good, Ryan.
Tony is a 4th generation sheep farmer, and his family roots stretch back to the days of the first English and Irish settlers.
My great-grandparents lived in this district, and then grandparents lived here, and my parents bought this property in 1953.
Because it's a bit strange that people came from Europe to Australia and imported the farming practices of the old world to here, and it didn't really work.
Yeah, the first settlers that came here went through a 3-year drought. Well, how many 3-year droughts do you get in the UK? Not too many, no.
It looks very green here at the moment, but I know you had a really good rain this past season.
Oh yeah, this is a bit better than normal. Some years it's quite barren, but no, this year looks good.
Hang on, Tony.
Hang on.
Yeah, sheep look good.
Yeah, they do.
Norton Warnest looks after Tony's 4,000 head of sheep. Is it a hard life looking after the sheep?
Yeah, it can be. It can be pretty risky when you have to round them up. Sometimes they go right up into the hills and lots of rocks and steep country, so yeah.
It always strikes me there are not many farmhands to look after a lot of animals here.
No, we rely on the dogs. The dogs do most of the work, so I use a breed called Kelpies, so they're a herding dog, and they see me as the boss and they just want to bring the sheep to me, so it makes life a
lot easier.
Yeah.
How many people do you have working like Norton on the farm?
One.
Just Norton?
Just Norton.
Quick! Quick!
Kelpies are muscular, sharp-eyed and quick-thinking dogs. They're zealous gatherers of livestock. They will circle, poke and nip the animals, herding them for many hours in the heat and dust without giving in. Although Norton's riding a motorbike, not a horse, there's no doubting the pioneering spirit that's still alive here. The sun's climbing overhead, and it's time to move on. My route takes me out of the grasslands and towards a line of trees where the ground starts to rise into the foothills. With the temperatures climbing into the high 30s, the shade is a welcome relief, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. This is the emu. It's beautiful. Take a look at these amazing birds. Of course, they're flightless, but their feathers, when you look at their feathers on their back, they look like they've got the most perfect central parting. Quite something. A flightless bird may, on the face of it, appear to be vulnerable prey for the taking. But emus have an incredible turn of speed. When they need to, they can run up to 60 kilometres an hour. They blend into the shadows really well. I'm just going to go behind this bush here and look through. Amazing the way they move, picking up the little seeds and things. There are some wonderful illustrations of Aboriginals hunting them in the early days of settlement of Australia. And they take some feathers, disguise themselves as an emu, and then take up this stance like this with their hand as their head. And they carry their spear and spear throw with their toes as they move forwards, perfectly mimicking the movement of the bird. Really skillful. But today, of course, this bird is a lot calmer. No one's going to spear it here. It's a privilege to be able to get this close to one. Lovely thing to see. Well, let's move on and see what else we can find. I follow the gully up into the foothills to a small waterhole. These waterholes retain water after the streams and rivers run dry, and they're a lifeline for animals living in a place as dry as this. In arid country, water means life. It's the old story. It's the best place to be. Right, I'm going to get set up. Martin, my wildlife cameraman, and I settle ourselves in, hidden by nets and a camouflage screen. As well as the bird life, I'm hoping we might see some larger animals. And almost straight away, we're in business.
Directly behind you, up the track, are two kangaroos. Look at your left, behind you. Have you got it on camera? Fantastic. I think it's going to come down here in a second.
A grey arrives. It's the most common species of kangaroo. Mothers communicate to their joeys by clicking, and they'll also growl when threatened. As well as the grey kangaroo, I spot its smaller cousin, the Euro. And just as we thought it couldn't get any better, a red kangaroo arrives at the water's edge. During the dry season, red kangaroos can go for days without water, perhaps only drinking twice a week. Seeing this is a rare treat. I've been hiking deep into the Flinders Ranges, climbing up from the grasslands into the wooded foothills, but it's time to go even higher. Now, if there's one thing the Flinders is famous for, it's the wedge-tailed eagles. To see those, I need to go way up into the mountains over there. Now that could be a really long, hot climb, except I'm going to do it the eagle's way. I'm going to fly in that helicopter. Bush pilot Paul O'Brien is going to give me a lift.
We'll hop in here, Ray.
Yep.
And right foot in, just mind as you go. And seatbelt.
Yep.
Self comfortable. With the helicopter safety, there's no stepping out, no smoking on board. All right, excellent. Let's go.
Paul is flying me to the top of a mountain ridge called the Chase, where I'm going to make camp for the night.
£10 whiskey Lima Victor is exiting Idiowi Gorge, 2,800.
Well, it should be a great place to look for eagles, that's for sure. We're right up in their country now. Yeah. The eagles I'm here to find are the region's top predator. As the air warms up in the valley below me, it creates perfect thermals for the eagles to soar on in search of their prey. My best chance of seeing one will be in the morning, which means an overnight stay on top of the mountain. By the time all of my team make it up onto the ridge, the sun is going down and it's time to set up camp. This is real wilderness, no lights or Wi-Fi up here. Great bit of Aussie ingenuity there in that pot hanger. This is a pretty flash camp and a really good location, and it's a spectacular view, but the thing that excites me most is this amazing tree. This is a grass tree, and this is one of the, you find it all over Australia, but it's one of the things that really spires above the Flinders. You find it in the high country like this, and this had quite a lot of uses. The dead flower stalks like this, they were favourite friction fire sticks used by Aboriginal people. So it looks like it was designed by an architect. Mind you, maybe it was. Now this has given me an idea. I'm never one to waste a natural opportunity. And with a fire going, camp feels like home in no time. Well, it's a lovely camp, and I'm going to knock up some bread for this evening while we're here, in a real Australian tradition, which is to make beer bread. For that you need flour and beer, basically. So there's the flour ready, and in goes some beer. This is a staple of the old cattlemen. Many still, of course, in the cattle stations will still make dampers and beer bread. I'm just going to make a small loaf because we're kind of right on darkness now. And it's nice to cut across in the top. Cutting the cross in the top of the bread actually helps it in the cooking, but really goes right back to the Celtic origins of some of the early pioneers to Australia. And I'm going to start that bread above the fire in the iron pot, and then a little later on I'll put some embers on the top to brown it off on top. And of course it's economy in all things. When you're out on the range, people don't want to waste stuff, and I've been economical with the beer, which means that I get a swig. Doesn't get much better than that.
After 30 minutes of cooking and just a little drinking, we're in business.
Well, it has to be eaten, doesn't it, guys?
That is a nice way to finish off the day.
Spare drinkum.
And after supper, it's time to turn in. We'll have an early start in the morning. Now his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he. There was movement at the station, 'cause the word had passed around. The colt from old regret had got away.
Last night I had some company. You can see here this incredible spider's web made by an orb weaving spider. Now, I know some people are terrified of spiders, but I'm quite used to them, and I really don't mind having a neighbour like that. Mind you, if you have to get up in the middle of the night for a comfort break and you walk into one of these things, that can give you a little bit of a fright. The woods here are absolutely full of them. There's another one lower down over here. Come and have a look. They've strung their nets here through the woods, of course, to catch their prey. And all weaving spiders are credited with having the strongest spider silk of all of the spiders. And you get a real sense of that here with these amazing aerial walkways they've constructed. It really is incredible.
These tiny killers are worth a closer look, whilst my highly trained second pair of eyes, wildlife cameraman Martin, keeps a lookout for a much bigger predator.
Get really close to this one, look at that. And the young spider there and the remains of Mears. This is the female. And up here is the male, who's a lot smaller, and keeping his distance so that he doesn't become a victim of the female who might well decide to eat him. It's a tough life for a male spider.
But I'm here in search of Australia's largest bird of prey, the wedge-tailed eagle. And we just spotted one.
There it is, there it is, there it is. Just see it there. Here we go. It's the wedge-tailed.
I'm locked on.
Wow. Here it comes, coming straight towards us. Fantastic. There's our wedge-tail. Now I reckon they've been waiting for some thermals to take to the air, and the air has just warmed up. Perfect timing. That's great. Did you get it when it came past a minute ago?
Absolutely fantastic, Ray. And to see that wedge tail as well,
It's a very big bird, isn't it?
it's a first for me, it really is.
He came to check us out. Awesome. Gosh, if you could come back as an animal, I think an eagle would be a good choice because they get such a great view of the world. Amazing. The old wedge-tail is quite a predator, actually. Basically, it has binocular vision. It can see great detail at long distance. But also, it's been known to take some pretty large prey. There are records of it actually driving kangaroos off of cliffs and taking emus. They're very attracted to roadkills along the roads. We often get kangaroos on the sides of the roads, and the wedge will go down and they'll grab them, and they will drag them by using their wings and their talons off of the road. So it's right up there with the big-time predators of the world.
It's been great being this high up looking out on wildlife, but all too soon it's time for me to take to the air as well, on the final leg of my journey across the Flinders Ranges.
Helicopter 44 lifting from the Chase Range, 3,000 and on track to St Mary's Peak.
Now we get to see what the wedge-tail was seeing this morning when it took off in the thermals.
Paul has plotted a very special flight path that's going to take us right over the top of an ancient mountain amphitheatre called Wilpena Pound.
This is the pound ahead of us.
Although it looks volcanic, it was actually formed when huge tectonic forces folded the Earth's crust into these mountains almost 800 million years ago. The first sheep and cattle farmers in the area used it as a safe enclosure for their animals, as there were only two ways in and out, through gaps in the rocks.
Now we're shortly to enter the pound from one of the natural gaps. And welcome to Wilpena Pound.
So this is Wilpena Pound now. Amazing, and this is where the first white guys in here saw this as a natural place to keep cattle.
In the mid-1800s, they brought up far in excess the amount of animals in here. They had around 8,000 head of cattle, twice as many sheep in here, and in the droughts of the 1860s decimated the countryside here.
Sadly, the early settlers didn't understand how unforgiving this land is. They had to learn the hard way. When the drought struck, all the livestock that they'd driven into the pound perished.
So we're back onto Rawnsley Park Station now.
Wow, that's some journey.
It seems strange to be back on foot here at Rawnsley Park Sheep Station.
Well, sadly, I've come to the end of my journey through the Flinders, and it's been spectacular. I really didn't expect to see so much wildlife in such an arid, mountainous region. I'm told that Australians become addicted with the Flinders, and I can totally see why. It really is a spectacular place to explore.
The Fright House awaits in the next Bush Tucker trial. Anton Deck will be here with I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here at 9 tonight. Next on ITV, we're back on the cobbles in Coronation Street.